Michael. Hey, no!
Murdered Soul Suspect, ein paranormaler Detektiv-Thriller, in dem ein Polizist den Mord an sich selbst aufklären muss in einer mysteriösen Kleinstadt namens Salem. Ich bin hier mit dem Design Director Eric und dem Creative Director Joske. Joske von Square Enix, Eric vom Entwickler, und denen stelle ich einfach ein paar Fragen. First of all, coming from Quantum Conundrum, it was more or less a puzzle game with a lot focus on mechanics. Now you've got a very, very story-driven game, also a creative director from Square Enix. How did this all happen? How did you guys find each other?
Well, Yosuke actually has the story of where it came from. It's his idea originally, and it's a really, really interesting story.
I think I should explain that. Okay. Yeah. So I think this game came from this crazy sentence, which is movie Die Hard meets movie Ghost. So that combination is my original idea. So you can't see Bruce Willis in our presentation, but that is origin of our idea. So I thought this way. So when I watched movie Die Hard, then I imagined what if John McClane gets killed during his adventure, but he will continue his investigation or helping his wife. So then he becomes ghost detective. So then that is pretty unique or innovative or interesting experience. So that is beginning of this project.
Okay, and how did you come in contact with those guys and come up with the product we're seeing right now?
Well, yeah. So yeah, that is just original idea. But so after that, I tried to create a strong story mystery experience. So our concept is solving your own murder case as a ghost detective. So to make that, so I have a different reference or inspiration, which is J.J. Abrams' TV show like Lost, Fringe, Areas. I really loved his TV show. Then there are a bunch of mystery twists or surprising moments, and also there are some kind of strange supernatural twists like unknown island or smoky monster. So I really love that structure. Then when I think this murdered, so I try to create same feeling. So our game has a lot of story twists, mystery, surprising moment, and also supernatural twist, which is ghost detective, ghost investigation.
Okay, so you're responsible for all the weird shit, and it seems like you're responsible for the mechanics,
Yes.
for the way the game works.
Yes.
So can you explain a little bit how you approach this whole story construct and put it into motion?
Absolutely. So Square came to us wanting to do a partnership, and we jumped at the chance, obviously. So we actually built a team specifically to support the storyline. We've got a strong cinematics background with our company now. We've got our lead writer is actually here with us at E3. And basically what we did is we worked with Yosuke, with Shirakawa-san, to discuss what the best design concepts were, what the best way to tell the story was. And there was several prototypes that we went through. And what really gelled, when it really gelled for us, is when we decided to emphasize on the ghostliness of the concept. We tried a bunch of different concepts, but it never really felt unique. It never really felt like it was delivering on the premise that Yosuke came up with. And so what we ultimately did is we found that when you're investigating things, when you're actually putting the pieces together, because investigations are almost like reconstructing a narrative anyway, we're actually doing a really good job of having the player be engaged in resolving their own storyline. And so we went through several prototypes, and now Murdered is what it is, and we're really happy to actually have it out now.
So can you tell me a bit more about the design of the main character? At first glance, he seems like the prototypical action hero. He's a bit uptight, he's feeling a bit cynical, he's feeling a bit on top of everything,
Sure.
But I'm sure there's a soft core. Just tell me a bit more about it.
Right. Yeah, so I really wanted to create a new detective hero like Sherlock Holmes or Dirty Harry, or of course John McClane is one of these great detective hero, and that is my motivation. Then to achieve that, so yeah, obviously John McClane is my favorite character. So you can see kind of similarity, or Han Solo is another good example. Yeah, so yeah, he's tough guy and he's this kind of cynical, dark humor, dry humor type of guy. So I try to make that direction. Yeah.
I don't know if there is also room for some humor, for romance, love, or is it? Can you put stuff like this in the game as well, or is it more a very serious matter? Because it seems quite dark so far.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We have a humor moment or family emotional moment, and also scary moment, sad moment. We have a variety of emotional scene plot. Yeah, you can find these a lot of variety.
Okay, and today you've shown us quite some gameplay mechanics. So the player cannot really so much do stuff in the real world. They cannot influence people. You can gather informations, but how far can you carry this concept? You showed us quite simple gameplay right now, simple riddles. But how complex and how challenging for the player can this all be?
Well, absolutely. The stage we're showing in the demo today is from very early in the game. And so it's important for us that we don't just drop the player in on the deep end, right? We need to introduce them to this concept. We need to teach them the rules of the world so they know what to do. As you make your way further into the game, you actually find the investigations getting more difficult, more challenging, and more complex. Because as the player becomes more comfortable with the mechanic, we need to challenge them more and make the investigations that they're trying to solve more complex, a little bit more abstract. You're going to get more abilities as you work your way through the game. You're going to unlock new things that are going to change the nature of how you interact with the world, how you interact with the living, and even in some instances, you saw a little bit of that in the demo. And hopefully what it'll do is the player will constantly feel challenged, because if they're getting bored or disengaged, then we don't want that to happen. We want the player always to be engaged, always excited to figure out what's going to happen next.
One thing, because this game is pretty much an adventure, is it not?
Sure, it's very, very adventure driven. There is some action pieces of it. We do have, I guess you can call it combat, but it's very much draws from the same source as the investigations, where we want the player to come into a space and use the abilities at their disposal to build strategies about how to get the upper hand on these enemies that are otherwise incredibly overpowering.
So your enemies are placed kind of in a puzzle way, so you have to cleverly think about what you do, how to approach those situations.
Oh, absolutely. It goes into this larger holistic of a design holistic where everything comes from the same origin. We want the player thinking in the same way, no matter what they're doing, whether they're exploring the world or investigating the world or dealing with these enemies. We want them building strategies. We want them thinking about their actions and not just sort of going in blindly and doing the first thing that comes to mind.
One thing I really liked was this moment when his murder was uncovered by his colleagues, and they were bantering about his stuff like this. It reminded me on good old cop series like The Wire and stuff like this. So where's your writing coming from? How are you getting the story in this direction? Who's helping you?
So the story is actually based off of the story concept that Yosuke came up with. And we have our lead writer, Doug, works very closely with Yosuke to bring that into sort of the realm of the cop world. And this is a bit of an inside information, but the lead writer, his father was actually a police officer. And so he calls us on stuff all the time. He's like, nope, cop wouldn't do that. Nope, cop wouldn't do that. And so there's a bit of a genuineness about the banter, and a lot of that comes from actual experience.
Yeah. Cool. It was a pleasure to get those information from you guys. I wish you best of luck, and kudos on the cop banter. I really enjoyed that, and best of luck with the project.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cheers.